Warning. You will see what's going on right here, then you'll know what's going on. Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you all for coming here to serve the Lord. He's more important. Never forget about you, but others, if there's some leaving out of town for camp or anything, we still pray for them and touch the heart. This is the story. I want you all to know that we still like to continue the story with the storybook. We're in chapter 1, from chapter 1 to chapter 31. Long story, but it's different stories. Okay? Chapter 17, the kingdom's fall. We've already explained that last week. The king, they were not obeying at that time. With Jeremiah, the weak prophet, is saying, the Babylon will come over and take you into captivity. The king, he laughed, and then all of a sudden this happened. Jeremiah wept and says, God, this is happening. And now, today, I'm not preaching about this. So today, we're going to be preaching about Daniel in exile. What does that mean? Kind of calm down. With chapter 18. We'll be looking at it as a story. And this will be in the book of Daniel. I'm using the sign of a lion. Why the sign of a lion? Because he was thrown into the lion's den. And when he prayed, the angel came and shut the mouth of the lion. So, that's what we studied about. Daniel chapter 1 and 3 is chapter 6. And also Jeremiah chapter 29 to 31. It's a short story. Okay? Who is Daniel? And he himself was a prophet. And he was a young man. Daniel had 3 of his friends. Shadrach. The names are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Those 3 of his friends. Everybody got the signage. Okay. Thank you. Now, Daniel and his friends were taken captive from Babylon. They were taken captive, and I will show you the picture and illustration, okay? And then we'll be talking about Daniel and the lions for the story of that, okay? And who is Nebuchadnezzar? That's a big word right there. Who is Nebuchadnezzar? I'll sign the NB right there. Doesn't mean Nebraska. No, not the United States, Nebraska. I'll use the NB as the sign name of Nebuchadnezzar. King Nebuchadnezzar. Then you'll know. Are you clear? Okay. He was a king of Babylon. Okay. And then we'll be talking about who is Jeremiah. Okay. And that he was a prophet, a weeping one as well. Okay. We'll be talking from the book of Daniel, chapter 1, verses 1 to 2. King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and was surrounded with this army. This happened during the 3rd year that Jehoiakim was the king of Judah. Awful. But this, the Lord allowed Nebuchadnezzar to defeat Jehoiakim, king of Judah. Nebuchadnezzar took all the dishes and other things from God's temple and carried them to Babylon. He put those things in the temple of his God. Why did they say the idol? It didn't say, that God allowed them to take captive. I'll show you the picture next. Okay, you see on this map right here, there's Babylon right there. They took everybody in Jerusalem. Okay. There. See all that smoke and stuff like that? All the cars took everything. Okay. There they are, being captive. Okay. I want to say before, there was, some men got some meat, stuff like that. Daniel said, whoa. No. If you don't eat, the king will be angry. Probably cut you off. Daniel said, he said, in Daniel chapter 1, 12 to 13, it says, he said, please, give us this test for 10 days. Don't give us anything but vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then after 10 days, compare us with the other young men who is eating the king's food. See for yourself who looks healthier, then decide how you want to treat us, your servants. There's people, Daniel and his friends drinking water and eating vegetables. Okay? Then, Daniel, the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. Well, I'm going to show you an illustration here how Nebuchadnezzar dreamed. Verse 1 says right there, during Nebuchadnezzar's 2nd year as king, he had dreams. They bothered him, and he could not sleep. And later, the second person's not there. He calls them the wise men. Hey, I want to show you just an illustration. Hope you can see me. Oh. You know, just idle things. Oh, I can't sleep. What's going on? I can't sleep. It's bothering me. I don't know what's going on. Call the wise men over here. Verse 2 says, come over here. He asked each wise man, what does my dream mean? The wise man says, the dream? King, you know, you'll live forever. Oh. King Nebuchadnezzar said, no, I know it. Tell me, what's going on about this dream? What do you think? Maybe you can tell us what your dream, and we'll tell you. King Nebuchadnezzar, oh, he became so angry. I'll tell you what, I'm going to order you to get yourself cut off. No, tell me. Okay, relax. You tell us what your dream is. The man says, oh, they try to find somebody to look for Daniel. Hey, Daniel, come over here quickly, before the king kill him. Oh, okay. Tell him, hold on. Just give me some time. Tell him to relax. Okay. Daniel went and meet the group. Did not say, oh, I know, before the Lord. No, he didn't do that. He went and he prayed first. Wow. It's very interesting. He prayed, and then, you know, said, hey, Your Majesty, King Nebuchadnezzar, I found this man who can interpret for you. He's from Judea. King Nebuchadnezzar, is that right there? What does my dream mean? You know, what does this mean? Daniel says, explains about Nick. Daniel chapter 2, verses 32 to 35 says, here's the picture. As you can see, King sitting right there, not looking, he's imagining about this. Yes, that's my dream. That's what I have. Daniel said this. The head of the statue was made from pure gold. Its chest and the arms were made from silver. The belly and the upper part of the leg were made from bronze. And the lower part of the leg were made from iron. Now remember, iron doesn't mean, you know, you iron your clothes. No. That's just some sort of metal. You know, it's just an illustration. Okay, here we go. It says the feet were made partly of iron and partly of clay. Okay. While you were looking at the statue, you saw a rock. You saw a rock that was cut loose, but not by human hand. Like the idol man's been made, not by human, but wow, it says right here, then a rock hit the statue at his feet of the iron and clay, and mashed him. I'll show you some pictures next. See the head of Babylon. That's what the king was so prideful and happy. Won't be king forever, but the next one right there is the chest. Medo-Persia, and then Greece, and then Rome, and then Europe. And you see where it says right there, the second coming of Christ. I'll show you what it looks like next. There it is, right there. Next. It's just an illustration right there. Everything that's falling apart with this huge rock. What does that mean? Let's look at 35 next. It says, then the rock that hit the statue became a very large mountain and filled up the whole earth. So huge. So this is just an example. And that's why when Daniel explained this to the king was very impressed. He had plans. He called out many of the people to order the servants, tell everybody later on with music and bow down for idols. That's what he wanted. I was just curious, what did the king want? Daniel chapter 2, verse 44 says, during the time of the king of the fourth kingdom, nothing later, the God of heaven will set up another kingdom that will continue forever. It will never be destroyed. It's interesting. God's heaven will never be destroyed. This earth here will definitely be destroyed. You know, many different things. Only heaven will not be destroyed. And it says, and it will be the kind of kingdom that cannot be passed on to another group of people. The kingdom will crush all other kingdoms. It will bring them to an end. But that kingdom itself will continue forever. You remember that picture when I showed you? Back up a little bit. Right there. See where it says the second coming of Christ? That will happen. Okay, next. Next. Now, in Daniel chapter 3, verses 8 through 11. The idol of God, the idol of gold, in the hot furnace. What does that hot furnace mean? You know, it gets so hot. Then some of these Chaldeans came up to the king and began to speak against the people of Judah, from Judah. They said, King, may you live forever. Let's look at verse 10. It says, King, you gave a command. You said that everyone who hears the sounds of horn, flute, lyre, trumpet, harp, and bagpipe. You see in Scotland, they have that bagpipe right there. That's the picture I'm having. In all the other musical instruments must bow down and worship the gold idol. That's, the king want everybody to bow down. And you also said that whoever does not bow down and worship the gold idol will be thrown into a very hot furnace. With that hot furnace fire, wow. I'll show you next. See all that picture right there? There's the announcer right there. He announced what's going to happen. There's all that audience with that idol, and there's the musician right there, and then everybody bows down. But you see the middle right there? It says, "Oh, there are 3 men standing there. They don't care about that idol." And see those 3 men. So they go over there and tell the king, see, they didn't bow down. The king says, really? He gets angry. 2 men gets so angry. Next. And then later, the king said, "I've announced everything." Remember, you're supposed to bow down to everything when you hear music. And then 3 men says, all right, look, the king was so angry. What did he say? Next. Daniel chapter 3, verse 16 to 18. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, answered the king, "Nebuchadnezzar, we don't need to explain these things to you. If you throw us into the hot furnace, the God we serve can save us. And if he wants to, he can save us from your power." My power? Ooh, to make the king mad. But even if God does not save us, we want you to know, King, that we refuse to serve your gods. We will not worship the gold idol you have set up. What? Oh, next, I'll show you what it looks like. What? And I'm just like to show like more mad. Get so blown up. Next. Woo, look at that face up there. Oh, he just want to blow up. I don't know how he can do that. Oh, the servants try to calm him down. Doesn't it? Woo, man. Look at that. So, Daniel chapter 3, verses 21 says, "So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were tied up and thrown into the hot furnace. They were wearing the robes, pants, cloth caps, and other clothes." I'll show you next. As you can see, they're all tied up. They try to tie them on where they won't. They get so tight they can't move anywhere. Wow. Next. And that fire was so hot, even the servant died when they tried to throw this in the cave. The king just rolling in there, rolling in there. They threw him in there. That's how hot it was. When they threw him in there at the same time, God protected them. The guards try to get burned, but here's what happens next. See, this is God's power. Even when he tried to throw the men in there, the servants were swallowed by the fire. Wow. I'd like to tell you a story. It's true. Maybe some of you remember it not. A long time ago, a young man, about 10, 12, he came home. He was so cold. And the heat was just barely on. And so he turned it on all the way. And then he let that gas on, he didn't know. So he looked for something like a match, and he kept looking and looking and looking and looking and looking. And he finally found it. He striked it up. And guess what happened? With that gas on, he put it in there. What happened? Boom! He fell back. Oh, he got burned. Oh, this is true. That's what happened with the servant. They got burned. He killed them. This is true. Oh, my arm. Oh, my face. I need to go to the doctor. That fire. I tried to turn it down, but it's pain. Overnight, and then later, a few days later, couldn't remember it. Who was that one who lit it? Long time ago? Tell you the true story? That's what happened today? I preached to you. That's me. I did. You believe that? You didn't know. I didn't know about that. I should have died. You would have not seen me, brothers and sisters. But here I am. I am here, preaching to you. It's God's plan. I should have been burned to death. Oh, yeah, I got burned. Painful ways, but wow. I remember a long time ago. That's what I remember. Next. Daniel chapter 3, verses 24 to 25. Then King Nebuchadnezzar jumped to his feet. He was very surprised, and he asked his advisors, the ones that are responsible to help the king, says, we tied only 3 men, and we threw only 3 men into the fire. Is that right? His advisor said, yes, king, yes. So this is what it looked like. What? Saw something right there. He said, hey, look. There's 4. You typed 3 men. What's that? What do you see out of there? Next. They were shocked. Next. The king said, look, I see 4 men walking around the fire. They are not tied up. And they are not burned. The 4th man looks like an angel. Can't tell. Strange, that's impossible. Later the king says, open the door. Call the men to come out. Next. Remember when I explained to you about this? Next. there, went to the opening of the hot furnace and he shouted, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, come out, servants of the Most High God, come here. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the fire. They looked on there was no smell of fire burn or anything. And he fell down on his knees and he prayed to God. Wow. Next. Then he started becoming more prideful, and he escaped from people, trying to become into an awful thing. And it says that later, King Nebuchadnezzar became proud, stubborn. He became like a mind of an animal. And wild donkey. And guess what? He ate rat. It was terrible. Next. Now, who is Belshazzar? He was his grandfather, Nebuchadnezzar. He was the second king of Babylon. They was killed by the Medes and Persians. Now, who is Darius, the new king of Medes and Persians? Next. Now, the Daniel and the lions. Now you heard to the story. Here's what happened. In Daniel chapter 6, verse 10, it says, Daniel always prayed to God 3 times every day. As you see the pictures right here on the left, you know, they see Daniel praying. So the priest decided to think, oh, praying, God, that's wrong, but praying to the law. So they told the king. So the king said, change the law. They must pray to me. This is what happened. They said, look, Daniel's over there praying. He's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You see the second picture right there? He felt awful. He felt crap. He cherished Daniel. He didn't think there was nothing wrong with him. Oh, Paul Daniel over here. Daniel, I'm sorry, I gotta throw you in the lion's den. Daniel said, okay. Cherish you. Next. Daniel chapter 6, verse 19 through 22. Then the next morning, when Daniel was tossed into the lion's den, he could not sleep. He was restless. He couldn't eat. He couldn't drink. He was so worried about Daniel. Oh, he cares about Daniel. And we couldn't do it. And now, the next morning, the king Darius got up just as it was getting light, and he ran to the lion's den. He was very worried. He got to the lion's den. He called Daniel. He said, Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God. He knew God was very powerful. He was being honest. Has your God been able to save you from the lions? You always serve your God. You respect him. No, you better follow me. Not like King Nebuchadnezzar, think, oh, I'm prideful and arrogant. But he was focused on Daniel. And I like this verse. You always serve your God. Verse 21 says, Daniel answered, King, live forever. My God sent his angel to save me. The angel closed the mouth of the lion. The lion hath not hurt me, because my God knows I'm innocent. I never did anything wrong to you, King. Okay, pull him out, pull him out, pull him up. And then guess what? Next. As you can see right there, when Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, he says, come on out, quickly. They pull him out, quick. The angels closed the mouth of the lion, which spoke to King Darius like it was nothing. So they got him out. Now, guess what happened? Next, here's something awful. You see? He threw, said, oh, Daniel did all this, all the services. No, Daniel did this, Daniel did that. Now, guess what? It's on his wife and plus his family. His wife, children. Can you imagine that? Wait a minute, let me say it again. Him, his wife, his children. What? This is interesting. They pulled him up and said, come here. Servant, you know what to do. What is it? He fell right in there, and guess what? The lion got them before they went off the ground. He was big, screaming and yelling. Imagine that? Ooh. But Daniel was one of those men. Visit the lions right there. But the lion's mouth was shut. And he prayed before this happened. He knew he was innocent. Trying to trick me. Guess what? Now the king wants to renew the law. Respect Daniel and everything. Wow. It's very impressive. Next. Who is Jeremiah? He was a prophet and weeping. I'm not going to explain the whole story. This is my favorite verse right here. He warned and called Judea, you give up, Babylon will capture you. Or you're going to have to be in the war, you will die. God, please, touch their heart. And he finally got captured and stayed over there for Babylon. And later, he got freed and came back. The servant, God wanted him to remember him later. This is my favorite one. I hope you all pay attention to the verse next. Chapter 30, Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31 to 34 says, this is what the Lord said, the time is coming when I make a new agreement with the family of Israel and the family of Judah. It says, it will not be like the agreement I made with their ancestors. I made that agreement when I took them by the hand and brought them out of Egypt. That's why he promised that he wanted to get them out. Oh, he decided to leave them to go to another. No, he never forgot them. He got them out. I was their master, but they broke that agreement. This message is from the Lord. Next. Jeremiah, verses 33, he said right here, in the future, I will make this agreement with the people of Israel This message is from the Lord. I will put my teaching in their mind, and I will write them on their heart. Wow. I will be their God, and they will be my people. This is a good verse right here. 34. People will not have kings, their neighbors, and relatives know the Lord, because all people, from the least important to the most important, will know me. This message is from the Lord, and I will forgive them for the evil thing they did. I will not remember their sin. Now you see that last verse? Let's see that again. I will forgive them for their evil thing they did. I will not remember their sins. You know, when you ask forgiveness, you know, your sins will be forgiven. They'll be gone. Okay? In conclusion, do you remember I told you the story about chapter 18? Okay. Are we like Daniel, the prophet, and three of his friends? Or worship idol? Let me explain. Idol, you know, when you worship, you know, worshiping your friend, not serving God, you go party and you have fun, you go out a lot, and then you are full of sin with that idol and stuff like that. The application for that is change. You need to serve God more and less sin. Don't be like, you know, worshiping idols, and you see people out there worshiping a different idol. What's this for? Oh, situation fight? No, I'm not going to get involved in this. Look for a good way to move on. Okay? And I hope to see you next Sunday for chapter 19. God bless you all.